slip knot and chain 7. Once you get 7 chains, now make a single crochet into the second chain from the hook and continue making single crochet into each chain all the way until the end. Once you come at the end, now chain 1 and turn your work. For the next row, we are going to work in 2 back loops. Make a single crochet into this very first stitch from the hook but into the back loop and continue making single crochet into each stitch all the way until the end. But keep on working into back loops only because we are going to make the ribbing panel. In this last stitch, grab both loops, chain 1 and turn your work. For the next row, we are going to repeat the previous row by start making single crochet into this very first stitch from the hook but into the back loop and continue making single crochet into each stitch back loop all the way until the end. So just repeat that until you are satisfied with the length of your ribbing panel. I'll meet you once I'm done with my ribbing panel. Actually, the size of the ribbing panel depending to the size of the top you are making. If you are making the size small or medium or whatever, then just make what, or you can even try it on yourself to see how it fits. If you see that it fits on you perfectly, then you can stop and continue with the next step. I'll meet you once I'm satisfied with the length of my ribbing panel and to come tell you how many rows I have made for my size. Okay, I'm done with my ribbing panel. Since I'm making size small, I made up to 50 rows, whereas I have counted them in a multiple of 2 by counting like 2, 4, 6, 8 until I get 50 rows. So for the next step, we are going to work across the ribbing panel to start forming the body of the top. By then we are going to switch to a different hook which is bigger than the one we have used when we made the ribbing panel. We have used a smaller hook because we want our ribbing panel to be stiff enough, but then for the body it needs to be a little bit loose. So to begin, start making single crochet into this very first stitch from the hook and continue making single crochet into each stitch all the way across until the end. Just make sure you have a total of 100 stitches at the end of this ribbing panel. I'll meet you once I come at the end here. At the end, chain 1 as usual and turn your work. For the next row, make a double crochet into this very first stitch from the hook. Make single crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. Repeat that all the way until the end by making double crochet into one stitch, single crochet into the next stitch. Repeat that all the way until the end. I'll meet you at the end once I'm done with this row to show you the next step. Chain 1 and turn your work. For the next row, we are going to repeat this very same row. Start making single crochet into this very first stitch from the hook, double crochet into the next stitch. You are going to do this in the stitch that you have made a previous double crochet. We are going to place a single crochet in the stitch that you have made a single crochet in the previous row. We are going to place double crochet and just repeat it all the way until you have a total of 5 rows of this pattern. I mean up to 7 rows to show you the next step. Chain 1, turn your work. You can repeat this row until you are satisfied with the length of your body panel. If you want your top to have large coverage, then you must add more rows. If you want it to have small coverage, then you must only make few number of rows. So in my case, I'll only continue making this same pattern until I have about 5 or 7 rows. Then I'll meet you to show you the next step, whereas the next step will be making the bra cups in the shape of a triangle. I'll meet you once I'm satisfied with the length of my body panel to show you the next step. Once I'm satisfied with the size of my tops coverage, which has about 2, 4, 6, 8.5 rows, which is equal to 9 rows, if I may to say. Now for the next step, we are going to form bra caps. To form bra caps, we are going now to fold this entire project into half like this. And so once we have folded it in half like this, then we are going to mark the middle stitch, which is this one. Once you mark that middle stitch, now you are going to do the same thing you had been doing this side by working all the way until here. Then once you reach here, I will show you the next step. Make a single crochet into this same stitch you have marked with a stitch marker, chain 1 and turn your work. For the next step, actually for you to work going back this side, you have to mark somewhere here where you are going to end. It's just determining like how wide you want your bra cap to be. So you can try this on to see where you will be marking your last stitch, where you'll be comfortable. I'll just come back to you once I have marked mine to show you how many stitches I have counted from here up to here and how many stitches I have left from here to where I'll be marking my bra cap. Okay, I have marked where I'll be placing my last stitch of my bra cap, because this part is the one that I'll be working on to form my triangle bra cap, and this side is the one that should be covering across my ribs when folding my top like this. So this side there are about 29 stitches and this side there are about 23 stitches. It's actually just up to you wherever you are comfortable placing your bra cap. So in my case I have about 29 stitches like this. So counting from here up to here there are 29 stitches. So this side I won't be working on it anymore, so I'll be only focusing on this part. Now for the next step I'm going to start decreasing. So I will be working on the first 2 stitches together and the last 2 stitches together for probably about 4 rows. Then from there on I'll only be decreasing this side and leaving this side straight without decreasing anymore. So let me just start showing you how I'll be doing it. Since you have already chained one, now just turn your work as usual. You see we have ended with a single crochet, and so which means we are going to start with double crochet, but we are going to work on these 2 stitches together. Whereas this one we are going to place a double crochet, and here we are going to make a single crochet, but we are going to do that all together. Just yarn over, insert the hook into this very first stitch from the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook. Do not yarn over, just insert the hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now for the next row, just make the normal double crochet all the way until the end. Once you reach that stitch with a stitch marker, just remove it and do the same thing you have done this side by decreasing, and repeat it for the next 4 rows. Then I'll meet you once I get my 4 rows of decrease to show you the next step. So once you have decreased on both sides for 4 rows, for the next rows you are going to decrease only this side, which is the side that will be between your boobs. On the other side you only keep it straight without decreasing. You are only now going to decrease this side by working 2 stitches together, and you have to repeat that until you have 5 stitches left, which is only which is only going to form your strap. But if you want your strap to be wide, you can leave more stitches, or if you want it to be small, you can leave less stitches. But in my case, I'm only going to decrease until I have 5 stitches left by only decreasing this side, which is the chest side, and on the other side, which is kind of rib side, I'm going to leave it straight. I'll meet you once I get 5 stitches left to show you how I'm going to do my straps. Just to show you one row of how I'm going to decrease one side only and leaving the other side not being decreased, just keeping it straight. So here at the end you can see there are 2 stitches left, but you're not going to decrease, you're only going to do it in a normal way, the same way I had been doing. Only the other side, as I said, we are going to decrease. This side you're just going to work it out the same way we had been working without decreasing. So now continue doing that by decreasing only this side and leaving this side straight until you have 5 stitches left. I'll meet you once I get my 5 stitches to show you how I'm going to do my straps. Now we got only 5 stitches left. For the next step we are going to work on the strap, but now we are just going to work normally without decreasing on either side. You must keep on working like that until you are satisfied with the length of your strap. Keep doing that by making 5 single crochet across, turning over, but stick to this pattern all the way until you are satisfied with the length of your strap. The strap must be long enough to cover up to here. When you're going to fold it like this, the strap must be able to bend like this and come attach it here, depending how long you want your strap to be. You can even try it on to see how long it is, whether you need to add more chains, or whether you need to add more rows, or it's fine with you. I'll meet you once I'm satisfied with the length of my strap to show you the next step, which is actually how you're going to do it on the other side. So after you are done with your strap, this is how it must be looking like. It's not really long, it's just actually my size that I want. And this is how it looks like. It has about how many rows? Let me count. 1, 2, 3. It's having about 29 to 30 rows of just this normal double crochet by working into 5 stitches. I have done that probably for 29 to 30 times. But you can actually do whatever length you want, depending how you want your strap to be. So to go ahead, just cut off this yarn, but you must leave a long tail that you are going to use to join this strap to the body of the tape. Just try to leave a little bit long tail. To start working on the other side, make a slip knot, insert the hook in, and insert it into this very first stitch of the project on the other side. Then join with a slip stitch and chain 3. That chain 3 it counts as the first double crochet. You can make this double crochet if you want, so long as you are making it into this very first stitch you have made a slip stitch. Make a single crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch, and just continue all the way until you reach this middle stitch. Just remove the stitch marker and make a single crochet into that very same stitch you have removed the stitch marker, or whatever stitch that's supposed to go in there. If it's a double crochet on your side, you can just place the double crochet and place it back, or if it's a single crochet, just do the same and continue working all the way until you reach that middle stitch. So once you are done working on both sides, this is how your project must be looking like. Just make sure both sides are the same. So since my battery went flat, so I couldn't be able to film how I've done the other side. So the other side, since we have started working from this side all the way across till here, then when we went back we just went to work until here and went back again by start decreasing, and do the same thing we've done on the other side. We continue working all the way across until this stitch. Since this side we have only filmed some first parts, we couldn't be able to film the whole thing since my battery went flat. So we start working from here and all the way down until here. From here we went again back, but only up to this stitch that we have marked with a stitch marker, because we are trying to create the same size of the bracket as the other one that we have done first. So when we just went to work until here, then when we went back we start decreasing for 4 rows. the same thing we have done on the other side. Then from there we have just started decreasing on one side and leaving the other side straight until we have 5 stitches left. Then we continue working on our strap until we are done. So here is our strap, and we have also left a long tail for attaching the strap to the body of our top. So where you're going to attach it to the body of your top, you can just try it on and mark where you'll be comfortable placing it. In my case, you can even like count like this. If you have made exactly the same measurements as me, you can leave about 7 stitches from this side, then mark the 7th stitch. Then when you're going to attach this strap to this top, you're going to place it like this. So this 7th stitch must be the last or first stitch of your strap like this. Then attach it all the way until this side. Just make sure, since your strap have only 5 stitches, so you must also work only into 5 stitches by joining this strap to the body of the top with a yarn needle, and do the same thing on the other side as well here. To do so, let me just show you how I'm going to attach this. Just make sure your strap is not twisted, and make sure the wrong side is out and the right side is the one that's in like this. This is the wrong side and this is the right side. So just fold it like this and bring this one in like this. This is the 5th stitch, so you must insert the yarn needle into here. Make sure you are grabbing both loops like that. You can just flip it. Go ahead make sure you're grabbing both loops. You can try to see how it looks like, and this is how it looks like when joined. You can go ahead and try to level it up. You must not pull your yarns way too tight because it will look weird. It must not be look loose as well. It must just be moderate. So once we finish off this side, you must just go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So once we finish this side, just go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. This is how our strap look like when attached to the body of the top. Seems like I've pulled it a little bit way too tight, that's why it's looking a little bit this way, but it's fine. So just go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So let me just show you how I'll do the back strap, which is the strap that should be here. To make the strap, you can chain whatever number of chains you want, but in my case I'm going to chain only up to 70 or 100. I have chained up to 100 chains. I want my strap to be as small as it can. So let me just show you how I'll be attaching my strap to the top. I'm going to do so with a yarn needle because we don't really have big spaces. So just go ahead by placing it anywhere you are comfortable placing it, but don't forget to make it crisscrossing each other like this. Just continue doing so all the way like this until the end. So yeah, we are done with our top.